Okay, everybody. Good morning, everybody. In this lecture, I'll show you how to animate using different techniques in Flash. We will create a scene with clouds, water, and a boat. We'll start with setting the stage. Let's make this as a 200 frames. Okay, so go to frame 200 and hit F5, and we will insert few layers. How many things do I have on the screen? I'll have, for example, I will create a layer for the boat. I'll create a layer for the background. I'll create a layer for the sun, a layer for the cloud, and we will have a bird, and I'll create a layer for the bird. Okay. So we will have a few layers to create. So let's create all these layers. We'll start with the lower layer, and this is my background. Okay, and we will do the editing here. We'll do the drawing on this background. So I'm going to use the line tool. The easiest one is your line tool. So we will draw a line from here to here. Okay, and to make sure that there are no gaps, you can zoom in to make sure that there are no gaps later on. Okay, we will use this magnet tool to connect the lines. Alright, now I want to do is that I want to fill this with water. I want to fill this with water. Now there are different ways to fill it with water. One way to do it is what? Just draw a rectangle with a blue background, with a blue color. Or you can draw it yourself here and then fill it with different patterns. So let's go ahead and draw the rectangle. Select the background for the rectangle, or the fill color for the rectangle. Let's see something. You can select any color you want. Let's select this color. Okay, and we will draw it in the lower panel. Let me zoom it a little bit smaller so you can see. Alright, so I'm going to draw it from here to here. Okay, now if you don't want the black lines, what do? You select them and delete them if you don't want the lines. So if I don't want these black lines, you click on the stroke. You can delete those, or you can set the stroke to minimum stroke. Got the idea? Or when you select the property, when you have the rectangle, you can select for the property. You can just select the stroke you can make this stroke as small as possible, so that stroke does not appear, which is the edge around the rectangle. So this is another way to set this stroke. The next thing we want to do is that in the same background, we want to draw in the same layer, we want to draw the mountains. How do we draw the mountains? Now the simplest thing to do is that you draw, for example, again a line like this. Again, here you have to be careful with gaps. Alright, so make sure that there are no gaps when you're drawing these things. So I'm going to zoom 150. So I know there are no gaps. So there is a gap there. Do you see that? So I can stretch it out a little bit. Okay, like that. Then I'm going to draw the second line from here. Make sure it touches the other one. And then a line from here to here. Okay. Now to make sure that there are no gaps, again, you can zoom on these areas. Okay, it seems like there is no gap here, and there is no gap here, and then there is no gap here. Now what can we do with this? We can fill it But before we fill it, I mean, you can't see really, I mean, mountains don't just come in like this, I mean, with this steep slope, like this. They don't come like that, right? Maybe there are curves, there are different shades, right? Now what you can do, you can click on the control shift, I think, that's the one. No, control alt. Okay, do you see that? Control alt. And what happens, I added an anchor point. You call it an anchor point. Do you see that? I can move it wherever I want to. Why did I do that? Now I can curve each segment individually. So I'm here. If I put this here, now watch. I can curve this guy up. I can curve this down like that. I'll repeat it again. So this is the mountain that we draw. Now we can fill it. You can fill it with any color you want. Okay, so this is your fill color. Okay, here's my fill color, right? So you can fill any color you want. For example, maybe you want it to be like that. Okay, the mountain is a little bit dark. And then you just use the pocket to fill it. If you want to make it green, you can make it green. Clear? Now we do the same thing on the other side. We fill it on the other side. We draw similar mountain on the other side. So you can start with a line here. You see when you connect it, you see how it, when you make a line connected, you get a circle. Okay? And then somewhere here, and then draw like this. And again, you can add some anchor point. Alright, let's pause it. Now what we can do is that we can curve these lines so it would look like actually some hills. Alright, you want to do it this way, you want to make it okay, like that. And then you can fill it with the same color. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. Now let's make it 100%. This is what it looks like. Now the sky, you want to be brighter color, صح ولا لا? Brighter blue. So let's see if we select different very bright blue, maybe this one, and then what do? We just simply add fill the bucket, use the fill bucket, sorry, and then try to fill it. I don't think you can fill it. Why you cannot fill it? Why you cannot fill it? Because I don't have a rectangle, I don't have a closed area. To fill it, we did it wrong actually. What you should have done is that you draw the sky first, then you draw the mountains. Alright, you start with the sky, then you draw the mountains. But anyway, what you can do, you can create another layer and create for the sky. Alright, so I'm going to do that. It's easier than the drawing it after this. So I'll create another layer. Here is the layer 6. Okay, so we can call that sky. And then I'll move it down below this here, right? And then let's hide this one. Okay, I can hide the background so I don't see it. Then I can fill any rectangle here, just a big rectangle for the sky. Got the idea? حتى you can go outside, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. Now when you show it, it will appear like that. طبعا only what is showing on the screen is what? This part is not showing on the screen. Okay, only you see this on the screen. I don't like the colors of the mountains, huh? I don't like it. Let's make him green. Yeah, we'll use him different color. Choose what color do you want for the mountains? Huh? Green. خلفية بيضة, sky white. To make it maybe different, bright, more أبيض, صح ولا the lighting color. Okay, we'll do that later. Okay, but that's not the objective here. Okay, but let's make the color the way it's too dark. Let's change the colors of the mountains something green. Okay, you can do whatever you want. This is your own design. Make it whatever you want. All right. Do you see those lines? You can change the stroke, or you can just delete them if you want. That's okay. I deleted the background. You can lock a layer if we don't want to touch it. If we don't want to touch that one, okay, we can lock it so we don't mess with it. Then here we have, we can just delete those. Okay. And then now I deleted the mountains. All right. So you can see that if you are a good drawer, you can do much better job than me, right? But this is the idea. Now we'll start. I don't like this guy here. This. Do you see this here? This angle. Anyway, we'll leave it as it is now. This side, this, and let's just change it, make it smaller. Okay. All right, that's better this way. Okay. Now we want to do a boat, or we do the cloud first. How do you do the cloud? Clouds are easy. All you need to do is draw a circle, and then you can play with the circle. Two ovals. Select white. It's first of all. So we need to go to the cloud layer. So we go, this is cloud layer. Or do you want the sun to be in the background, then the cloud above it, right? So we'll do the sun first. Okay. So we do the sun first. Now the sun, we want it to appear here and go up. Right? How do we do that? You create an oval. You can select the color of the sun, orange or whatever color you want. So in the property you can select, for the stroke we will make it 0, no stroke. Okay. For the fill you want to use what color of the sun? Which, this color, that color, what? Yellow? Yellow for the sun?
Yes.
Alright. And for the stroke, also make it yellow. Okay, so the stroke and the fill are the same. Now we can draw a small sun here. Alright. So this one at what layer? This is the sun layer, right? Now we go to a third layer, and then this is, we're going to call this cloud layer. And we want to put the cloud from here and then make it move across. Again, for the cloud, you can select the property for the cloud. Where is the colors? We can, I know, but it should be able, you should be able to see it. The cloud, what color do you want it? Gray? White? What? White? Alright, we select white. And then, but you can play with this. You can, the coloring, you can play with the coloring. So I'm gonna draw two clouds, two circles. One like this. We left the stroke as yellow. Control Z. I'm going to change this, the stroke to gray, a little bit gray. Alright? So I'm going to draw one like this and another one next to it like that. Okay? Then if you zoom in, let's zoom in on this side. Then you do what? You delete the distance in between, and then you can play with the shape of your cloud. But this is a cloud. All right. Let's zoom back to 100%. So we have a sun, we have a cloud, we have mountains, and we have water. Now for the cloud, we'll start with the cloud. We want to move the cloud from here outside. We want it to get out of the stage. Yani it comes from outside the stage into the stage. All right. Now let's lock all the layers and then just work on the cloud. So I'm going to lock the sky, the background. You can hide them or unlock them, either way, okay? So let's lock them. The sun. So the only thing that is open for us is the cloud. Now for the cloud, let's zoom in a little bit, and I want to show you what I'm going to do. We have a frame here. This is my keyframe, right? This is my keyframe. I'm standing here. What I want to do is that I want the cloud to come from outside the screen. Yeah, I want this to come from the outside, coming in. So we need to select it first. Let's select that, all of it, and then move it out. Okay? So it's outside the screen now. All right? So this is my first position. Now, when you want to motion tween something, you want to make it a symbol. So you cannot motion tween it before it is a symbol. Got the idea? So I'm going to select this. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to do what with it? Convert to a symbol. You go under Modify, Convert to Symbol. And then we will give it a name, Cloud. Movie clip. Movie clip. Alright? Now, if I want to modify the shape of this cloud, where do I have to go? Inside the symbol. For example, هلا انتوا الكلاود مبينة ثابتة صح ولا لا؟ Maybe you want to make these move يعني انه expand and contract. يعني maybe you want to move the cloud itself. خلينا هلا هيك بعدين I'll show you the other way. Okay. طيب, now what we want to do, as when the movie finishes, we want this to get out of the screen. So if we go to the last frame in my clip, here's my frame in my last clip, and frame 20 and 200, and insert a keyframe. We hit F6 to insert a keyframe. Oh, sorry. Let's do it again. Control Z. Don't insert keyframe yet, okay? Because we're gonna do motion tween. So now on this layer, on the cloud, you can right click and do what? Create motion tween. Create motion tween. Clear? So we create motion tween. ماشي الحال؟ طيب. When you're creating a motion tween, now do you see how the layer changes into blue? That means this is an animated layer. You cannot add another symbol on it. You can only have one symbol in that layer. You cannot have two things at the same time in the same animated or motion tween layer. If you have two things that are moving on at the same time, you will have to create two separate layers if you want to use the motion tween. Alright? So what do we want to do with this? This is my starting position. By the time I get out, what do we want to do? We insert F6 here. Insert the keyframe. So this is my starting position. But when I end, I don't want it to be here. Where do we want it to be? We want it to be outside the screen. So I'll move back to 100%. And I will move it from here to here. Do you see all of that? So this is the path that this cloud will move. This is the path that this cloud will move. Alright? Now, if we want to test the movie and see how it works, You just go to control, play, control and test movie. You'll see that it's moving, but it's moving too quick. صح ولا لا؟ Yeah? Frames per second, yeah. The whole movie, yeah. I'll show you how to do that. Do you see that? How do you slow the movie? If you look at the property of the stage, how many frames per second are we showing? 16. Okay, 16. But why is it actually, يعني ليش? Why is it going very fast? Because you're moving this whole distance in what? In a short period of time, in a long period of time. So it has to move quickly. You get the idea? But if you want to slow it down, like you said, you can insert different frames and move it slowly. Okay? Move it to this position first, move it to this position first, and so forth. Alright? I'll show you how we move, we play with this motion. There's a motion tween editor. Later on, I'll show you how we do that. But for now, if you look at, this is my motion tween, huh? This is my motion tween. If you look at the property of this motion tween, watch the property here. There is something called ease in, ease out. What is this ease in, ease out? When you put negative number, there is in animation, there is a terminology called slow in, slow out. Here it's called ease in, ease out. What does that do? Yani when you have a car, when you start a car and you're starting riding the car, does the car start quickly or does it slow down? And start slow and start speeding up? Starts first slow, then it speeds up. That is slow in. You start slowing. You start slow and then you move faster. Then when you want to park the car, can you park the car quickly or you have to slow down first? Or still, you cannot go. If you're driving 100 kilometers per hour, can you park the car? With action movie, yeah. We're not in action movies. But then what happens? You need to slow in and then park the car. So at this point, we have what? We start what? Fast. Or we start slow, right? Then at the end, you can go at the end and change that to do what? To start. You come in fast and then you start slowly. All right. Let me show you what kind of effect does this have. See how it is starting very slow? Now it will start speeding up. Do you see that? Do you see that? So you start slowly and then it goes fast. Clear? You can. I'm just showing you this technique because you will have to use this technique. يا صبايا شو قصتكم؟ You're okay ولا مين هذا؟ Alright, so now if we wanted to do at the same time, yeah, Sabaya, if we wanted to do at the same time, make the cloud, as it's moved, we wanted to make the cloud do something funny, whatever you want to make, right? So if you go to the library, and then double click on the cloud, I'm inside where am I? Cloud. Oh, we made it a button. We didn't make it a movie clip. So I cannot do much with this one, okay? You can't change. Well, can you change it? I don't think you can. After you. Oh, here you go. We can change it. Good. Movie clip. Okay. All right. Look. Now you want to do something with this cloud, something funny. Do you want it to turn, for example, as it rotating, or get bigger? Get bigger and maybe do something funny. Type watch. Let's insert. How long is that movie clip was? 200, huh? Type. I can insert, I'm just going to show you the effect. I will enter 5, I'm going to enter F5 at frame 50. Alright? Now, this is my beginning. Here I'm at this frame, right? Keyframe. I want to show you the effect of something called shape tweening. There is motion tween and there is a shape tween. What is shape tween? Shape tween, it changes the shape from one to another shape. So the cloud starts like this, and at the end we'll change the cloud to be bigger or something scary. Alright? So how do you do this? Watch. We insert F6 here. We insert F6 in here, right? Now, here, let's zoom in and then play with the shape of this. How can we do that? Just click in here on this and maybe go like this, go like, maybe make it, and maybe go like that, right? So this is, here it's like this, here it's like this, huh? Watch. You guys in the back, sure, you're okay? Wala sure. I'm recording, your voice is in here and okay. So what do you do is that you create shape tween. Look what will happen. You see that? كيف الأفلام تطلع? You see how it works? This is what's going to happen to the cloud as it moves. Alright? You can put scary faces. Do you want to put the scary face? Alright? ولا later خلاص. Anyway, now what happens if you go to the movie and do control movie and test movie, see what happens. Why is it not doing it? Huh? It should work. Huh? No, it should work. Why is it not doing it? Okay, go back to the scene and let's test the movie. Maybe I need to add it again. Oh, because this is maybe a different symbol. Let me see, because I changed the properties. Alright, I'm going to delete this one and add it again, alright? I'm going to delete it on this layer, I'll add it again. So I'll add the symbol. We go back from the library. It's already here, right? So I'll add it here. I'll tell you why. I'll explain that why. Alright, now let's test the movie. خايفين. Do you see how it starts and goes like this? Anyway, I told you it's going to be funny, but you can do it whatever you want, right? But you can make some scary scenes if you want, right? Change the color to black, change the color to something else. I'll show you how we add filters to it. Alright, is that clear? Now why is it doing that? Why is it doing like this, going like back and forth, back and forth? Does anybody know? No. How long is your movie? How long is your movie? 50? No. 200. Right? And then let's go to the cloud frame. How long is this motion tween or shape tween? How long is it for? 50, right? That's what next we will do the bird like that. So do you see that? What if you wanted to make it change the size through at the end till the end? What do? You make this what? You make this the same length as your movie clip. Instead of 50, we make this to 100. So when it changes the shape, it will take that long to change the shape. You got the idea? Here, if I think you can expand this. Do you see that? You can. Let's. But if we go to a frame 200, and then hit F5 here. Okay, but now we have to drag this, okay, to the end. Okay, now it will take 200 frames to change that shape, which is what you have on your movie. Now if we test it, if you do control test, you'll see that the movie, it takes 200. Now see how it's changing slowly? It changes slowly. Alright? You just click on it. You come, when you go to that frame, you right click, or click and then move, okay? Control and then move. Yeah, control and then move back. Control and move, okay? When you hit control, you get that arrow. Okay? Clear? Alright, so you can make your own. We haven't done anything. Yeah, this is the tweening, shape tween. We started with a circle, and then at the end we decided on how it's going to look like, and it did it for us. Alright? Now if we go back to the scene, here's how you go back to the scene on top. Here's the scene, right? Now in the scene we have sun. So we're done with the cloud, right? So let's lock the cloud and open the sun. The sun, we want it to move like this in a curve. Alright, slowly. Okay? So here's my sun. Again, if we want to motion between this, what should we do with this? We'll have to convert it to movie clip or graphics, right? So we selected, and then F8, convert to symbol, and it's not a button, it says a movie clip, and then we want to call this sun. Alright? طيب, what do we do with this? We need to move it. We go to the end and add a keyframe for the sun. And now, before we do that, we need to motion tween this layer. So we go to this layer, right click anywhere and do create motion tween. And at the end, you can add F6 for cube frame. And here, we want to move the sun here, right? Now the sun is going to go left like this, right? But if we want to curve it, the motion, we want to curve the motion like this, okay, like a circle. All you need to do is just go in here and then bend it a little bit so it will go like a curve on the path. Alright? Now we have two things happening on the screen. On one layer we have the cloud, on the other layer we have the sun. So now we do what? Control and test movie, and then you'll see that the sun is moving and the cloud is also moving. Now the cloud will cover the sun. Why? Because we put the cloud on a higher layer than the sun. Alright? Clear? When you see the sun covered by the cloud, shouldn't you get different effects? The cloud, you should see light coming and all of that. That takes time. You need to put, when they intersect, you should see light coming behind the cloud. Okay? That takes time to do that. Alright. Let's look at the sun. As the sun gets higher, should be the color, the color لما تكون السن هون بتكون حمراء أول شيء، بس لما تطلع لفوق شو لازم تتغير؟ لازم يتغير برتقال. هلا تحت برتقالي بس فوق بكون أصفر ولا أبيض ولا شيء، صح؟ When you start low, it becomes it's orange, and when you go up, it turns into what? Different colors, right? How do you do this? Change the colors of a shape. Huh? You can do it. Let me show you. So we'll stop this. Let's go to the sun. So this is how we start at the beginning. Here's my the sun layer. I'm here. This is the color of that symbol, right? If you look at the property, do you look at this property? Do you see that color effect? Okay. You see brightness and alpha and all of that. You can play with these things, the color effect. So at the beginning is like that, but at the end, if we go to the end position, here's the end position. We go to color effect, again go to property, color effects. Alright, style is what? None, right? You can do what? You can do brightness, advance. Okay, here's your alpha, for example. You can have alpha, red, green. You can play with the green colors. Watch, if we want to increase the red, is it changing? I can't see. Are you guys seeing any effect changes? Why is it not changing? Okay, here, red. Okay, here we can, but no, minus. It's maybe it shows a different color. Okay, maybe reduce the green a little bit. Let's see if it. Okay, here. Actually, we wanted to start. Green. You can play. The idea is that you can play with this. Okay, you can play with these colors. You get different effects. Okay, you have to know the colors that. Okay, like this, right? It's more bright as it gets out. Okay, remember 255 is what? Is white. 000 is what? Black. So the higher the numbers, the lighter the color will be. All right. So now let's test it and see how it's gonna happen. What's gonna happen? It starts yellow, and it should be turning brighter as it gets higher. Clear? Do you see that? The effects? So how do you do it? You go to the end, for example, and then you click on the property, select color advanced, and then you can change the color shape. If you want it to be brighter, if you want to make it glow, you do the same thing. What do? You add filters. If you want it to make it glow, at the end you go to here. Here's my filters, and you can add a filter. Watch here. When you click on add filter, glow, blur, and different colors you can have. Just click on, this is you click on the object, you go to properties, you click on filters, and then in the filters you can add filters. And what kind of filter you want? You can, for example, add glow. What kind of, now here the glow color is what? Red. But you can add different glow color. You can add white, you can add orange, you can add whatever you want. I'm just going to put a different color in so you can see the effects. Okay, how much you want it to glow? Here's the percentage. Right now it says 5%, right? See the effect? You see that? Alright? Now watch what happens when we test it. Test movie. You'll see that the sun start getting a glowing. Do you see that? There is a glow around the sun as it gets higher and higher. Okay, so how do you do that? You do that with filters. Alright, the next thing we want to do is that we want to add some transparency to the cloud when it interacts with the cloud, with the sun. So how do we know that? We just play on the timeline and then look where they intersect. So when they intersect is about this point. So this is at frame 105, 106. We start with a small transparency, little transparency. And then when we go higher, here is your highest transparency, which is at 130. And then we start going back to about 145. We add another keyframe. So first keyframe will give me the start of the transparency, another keyframe for the highest transparency, and then a keyframe for coming back to what it was, the transparency. Clear? Let's go into, where do we do that? We do that inside the cloud. We don't do it in here. Alright? Or we can try it here. Let's see it here, how it works here. So where we at? We are at the cloud, right? We're here, right? So we are in the cloud layer. Let's unlock it. And then lock this one. Just lock all of the other ones except the clouds. We're gonna lock those. Just keep the cloud active. Okay, lock everything up. Okay, so we are at the cloud. All right. So we said we're gonna do it here, right? We're gonna start the transparency. So we will add keyframe here. Right? This is my start transparency, and then let's move up to here. And then add another keyframe, and then move here and add another keyframe. So we have 3 keyframes. I think this keyframe is on the wrong spot. Okay. Now when we start here, we leave the transparency. We will change the alpha here at the beginning. Okay. How do we change the alpha? You go to properties, and then you go to, I have to select the cloud first. Okay. We are in the cloud, right? Okay. Now we go to properties, and then you can do color effects. Okay. And then you can change alpha. Here is first we start with strong, right? Okay, or you can start little bit, right, like this. Okay, and then you go to this keyframe right here. Go back to properties. Go back to you have to click on it again. Go back to the properties, and then alpha. Here we reduce the alpha. Okay, it looks like it will go, the sun is bright. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. You have to play with it. It takes time. Okay. Then when we go back to here, we bring back to the alpha to what? We bring back the alpha to normal. Okay, so to 100. So we go back to properties, and then here's alpha back to 100. All right. So now let's test our movie and see what happens. So when we do control test movie, you'll see that as they get close to each other, that the cloud starts. Do you see that? Now you can add other effects. You know, not only transparency, you make it glow. You can make the cloud glow too. So let's say we can make the cloud glow with the yellow color. All right, the color, the light of the sun. So you can do the same thing. You go back to that position. Here's my object. We go to the color. We can go add filters. Okay, you can add filter to it. For example, glow. You can do radiant glow. What is B-level glow? What are the radiant glows? You can play with this. Radiant glow is different. You can do different glows. Part of the different sides that glow. All right, you can play with it. Okay, but you can do glow. And then you can glow on what side? You want to glow on the X side more or on the Y side more? You can do, for example, the X side more or the Y side more. So it glows like that. Okay? And then you can keep the X. Oh, this one, this is, they're both the same here. This is X. This is Y, right? And then you can select the color. What color you want to glow? Okay, it's red. We don't want red. You can select, for example, different color, orange. Okay, but this is at the beginning. At the beginning, we don't want it to be that strong. We want it to be low at the beginning. Okay, but here it will glow the highest in here. So you go back to property, and then again you go to effects. Here is the blur. Here where you make it, for example, glow higher, bigger. All right, and again here you make it glow back to normal. Okay. Okay. Now, if you control test the movie, you'll see that as they get close to each other, both will glow. And do you see that? As they get close, the cloud will glow. But you can play with these effects. We're doing it quickly, but if you want to do it properly, you have to watch movies, watch how the sun reacts with the cloud, and apply it into your movie.
And sir, to be able to use the alpha, you have to move it to change it as a motion to first. If it is not the cloud or the sun.
You have to convert it to a symbol first. It has to be a symbol before you can change the alpha. Okay. All right. Is this clear? We have a few minutes left. Let's draw the bird. Okay. Now, for the bird, now what if you add two clouds? If we copy and paste if we add another symbol if we add another cloud on the screen, what do you think will happen? So you'll have two clouds doing the same thing. If you wanted to do two clouds doing two different things, what do? You can go into the library. You can do right-click on the cloud, duplicate the cloud, and then say different cloud 2, for example. Okay. Now I have two clouds. I can go edit this cloud. All right. I can make it, for example, the motion tween. It doesn't have to be motion tween. I can create different motion tween. I can change the shape tween. I can do whatever I want with this cloud. All right. So we can add different copies of the same symbols on the screen. Clear or not? All right. If we go back to the scene, let's go to the bird layer. Okay, so we're going to change that to bird. In the bird layer, what did I do here? I think I changed this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. In the bird layer, we want to draw a bird. How do you draw a bird? A simple bird is just wings and then move up and down, right? Simple bird. Let's go to, you can start doing it here, or let's go insert a symbol, insert new symbol, and we want to call this bird. How do you draw a bird? We want to make a black bird, so let's select the fill color and the stroke are black. Okay, the easiest way to draw it is that you draw lines, and a line this way and a line this way, right? Do you want me to draw it properly? Let me show you how you can draw it with circle, right? So you draw a circle like that, draw a line like this, and a line like this, a line like this. Watch, just wait, I'm doing it quickly. I'm doing it quickly. Okay, and then draw another circle here. And then fill these. Fill this. Alright. Now draw wings. Draw wings like this. Okay. Then draw wing like that. And then draw wing like this. Okay. Now what we want to do is that I can actually fill the wings. Doesn't look like a bird yet. But you can do what now? You can change. You can see how we can play with this. It's connected, sah? But I did the lines. I didn't do the whole thing. Okay? But you can play with the curves. You can you can do different things with this. Okay? You can make it bigger. Make it extended a little bit. Okay? Go like this. If you know how to draw, it'll help you a lot, huh? If you want to. This is not proper, but you get the idea. Okay? You get the idea. But what is the problem here? We want this bird to move the wings, right? How do we make the wing move? Now to do it, this is the other technique is called, what is it called? Frame by frame. Here's where you use frame by frame animation. Now I did this as all in one layer, but this is not the proper way. What you do when you animate, because this is all one solid shape, this is wrong what I did. Why? Because if I want to move the wing here, what will happen? I cannot move the whole wing. Look, you can, but you get the idea, right? But it doesn't, it's okay, but it will distort the shape, right? Okay, so I can play with the sides of this, but usually what you do is that you do the wing separate, you do the other wing separate, the body separate, the head separate, so you can do different things with it. Clear? Type. Let's animate this. How do you do it frame by frame? You go to the next frame and hit F6. Alright? Now, F6 here. Now we have two keyframes, right? There is this one here, onion skin. Do you see that? Onion skin. What does that do? Allow you to do? يعني طلعوا. أنا هاي الفريم مظبوط. If I go to this frame, I can see like a shadow of the previous frame. Watch. هلا أنا on this frame. Watch. هلا أنا I'm gonna move this wing here. I don't want to move the whole thing. Okay, so I'm in this wing. Do you see the shadow behind it? هلا طلعوا. أنا عم بشوف الفريم اللي قبله. يعني when you do the onion skin, you see, because you want to make a movement, right? You want to simulate a movement. So what's happening is that you can see the previous frame. You can do the same thing here. Move it down. Now I can see how the bird is going to move in one frame. Now if you go to the next frame, insert keyframe here. I'm in this frame, huh? This is how the movement is going to look like. Now I can go again in this frame and move it like that. And then move it low like that. Alright? Now you can change the onion skin this and then make it only 2 frames. I think you want only the previous frame only. And then you do the same thing, add another frame here. Okay? Now I can do what? I can again move this down. So I can see how the movement is going to be like that. If you test this, what happens? Quickly, what? You can بدل ما كل frame we insert a frame, what do? You go مثلا every 2 frame you insert a frame. Alright? So you keep on doing this until you get the desired movement. Which one is difficult, more difficult? Which one is more difficult, this way or the other way? This way. But which one is more accurate, more realistic? This way is more realistic. Okay? My wings are actually are not good, but you get the idea. Okay? Now you just repeat the same step backward. Yani the wing goes down, then it should go what? Back up. Goes down and goes back up, right? And then you repeat this. So you can do this again, just add another keyframe here. And then you add, I'm just going to add one more, and then I'll show you how to do the other one easy. Okay? Oh, because it's too thin. Anyway, I can't do it here. Anyway, so now what do? Yani, instead of repeating the same steps backward, what do? I can copy these and paste them in reverse. You got the idea? Yani, I can select all of these and then right click and say copy frame, and then in here I can do insert. There is insert in reverse, convert blank, paste. Where is paste? Paste frames. You can't do it. Reverse. Do you see this? Reverse frames. Okay, you can insert them here. I'm going to insert them here and then reverse them. Okay. So paste frame. Okay, but look what happens now. If I move my, do you see? But I want it to move back up. Okay. From here, from this frame to this frame, I want to reverse those motions, to go backward. So what do? You right click on them and reverse frame. So I did only the first part of the motion, and then I do the second part, just copy, paste, and reverse. So now look what happens. If I play, but something is not right. It shouldn't do that. Okay? Okay, we're here, right? It should be able to do, just copy these, or if it doesn't work, you can do it one by one, but I don't want to do it one by one. Yani you can take this, copy frame, and then insert it here. Okay, Control D. And then you do the same thing with the other one. Okay, paste. And then you go to the second one, you do copy this, and then paste it here. But you should be able to do it the other way I showed you, okay? And then paste it here. But watch what happens. Now, when you play your movie, do you see how it's moving back up? The wings are moving back up. So you take whatever you did and then you paste it in reverse order. Alright? And then I can just copy this one, Control copy, just to show you the effects. And then do paste here. No. Copy this, copy frame, and then paste it here. Okay? Just to show you. Paste it here. Okay? So now watch what happens. Right. Now we're done with this bird. Now I didn't spend enough time because of time. You can do much better job than this if you spend enough time on it. Okay? So now, if we go back to the scene, we have a bird, right? Look what we're going to do. We go to the library. We will add the bird to my scene. We have to do it on which layer? The bird layer, right? Which is this one here. So I'll go to the library and add my bird. I wanted to cloud this one. Okay, so property and library, add the bird layer. Too big, right? What you can do, you can resize it, you can make it smaller. Okay? Remember the one that keeps perspective? Which one is it? Shift, right? I have a problem with this thing. Alright, okay, here you go. Okay. Now, we can motion guide the bird. Yani we can make the bird move at the same time the wings are moving. Yani I can go in here and add motion tween. Let's add different keyframe to show you. We can motion tween this layer. We can motion tween this layer. Create motion tween. And then what do? We make the bird go different movement. Yani from here to here I can insert a frame. So I can insert a keyframe here. Now from this position I can make the bird go to here. Then from this position I can hit another keyframe and then make it go here. As it goes farther I can make it smaller. Then I will go to here and then add another keyframe and then move the bird farther. Move the come on. It's moving the whole thing. But it shouldn't do that. Okay, it did move it. Okay. And then you can move it one more, add another keyframe, go to the end, and then move it out of the screen. If we move it out of the screen, do we have a keyframe here? Yeah. No, we don't have a keyframe. Let's add another keyframe here, and then move it out of the screen. Let's make it zoom a little bit because I'm clicking on the center point. I don't want to click on the center point. Okay, that's the problem. Okay. Now we move it out of the screen, and as we move it out of the screen, we make it smaller. So watch what happens now. When you do control test movie, watch what happens. You see that? So this is how you animate. It's a combination. We call this frame by frame plus what? Motion tween. We're done with... You can add it from what? You can add it from outside, yeah? You can add it from the outside. You can do what with this? Yeah, Sabaya. You can create, you can put more birds if you want here. Each bird will do different movement. For example, if I go and do, if we go to the library again, let's create another layer. You can't do it on the same layer. We have another bird layer, okay, bird 2. Okay, I'll repeat it quickly. Then we go and add the bird. I don't want the skin onion anymore. We don't need that, the onion skin, okay. What we do is that we add another bird from the library. Okay, it's locked. So we add another bird from the library. Again, it's very big. So what do? You just resize it. Okay, and then you can make this guy move, come different directions. So I'm going to make him from the outside, coming from the outside, like from the bottom here. Okay, as it comes from here, it's big. It flies here big. Then we create motion tween in here, right? So on that layer, the top layer, we create motion tween, And again, you can insert different keyframes to simulate the movements. Okay, so you can say insert a movement here, insert keyframe F6, and then you can move the bird to here, for example. You see that there is a motion. Okay, and then you go to another keyframe. I'm just going to make two keyframes here, and then from here we hit F6, and then we move it to somewhere here, and as it gets away from us, what happens? We get a little bit smaller, and then we make it erratic move going upward. Go to the end and add another keyframe, F6, and then all of a sudden this is the male. All of a sudden he saw the female bird, and then he started following the female bird, right? So we wanted to go from this position to this position, but make it smaller. Got the idea? Now we do control test movie. Do you see that? And then you'll see that he's slow here, then he will go fast in a minute. Do you see that? Okay. So that was the movie that we made. All right. Stop.